Yo, what up? What up? What up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. I'm your host from Hot 97.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Pat
Where
Navarano,
Brooklyn at?
everyone.
Where Brooklyn at?
With me, as always, is my co-host Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. Give it up for those guys, everyone. All right, torture them week after week.
At you this weekend.
Our new guest is Joe Biden.
Everybody, give it up for Joe. Sleepy Joe's in the house,
gonna be talking
everyone.
about
Sleepy Joe's here.
It's gonna be talking about immigration.
I wish I had a drop right now for,
Joe
You want
Biden.
Joe
Joe Biden.
drop?
Can
Just
we
watch
just get
him walk
something
up
to Joe,
some stairs.
just Joe Biden saying, "My fellow Americans." Just that's it. I think we could find that.
We
And
just make it right now.
We could.
she has
Corn
big
pop with,
bazoombas and an ass that won't
Fat
quit.
man.
Okay. I mean, fuck, I guess we could get some Joe Biden drops. That's a little innocuous, right? Drops of the current president saying things, right? That's not
president.
politically charged at all.
Come
No.
on, man. Yeah, if you had one that was just, come on, man.
Come on,
Yeah, actually,
man.
that's a good
Drop.
Oh, what did he say? What did he say? Will you shut up? Like
Just shut up,
that's a good
right.
one.
Yeah, that's a good
That's a
one.
good
All right,
one.
yeah. Next
That-
week.
Yeah, sure. We'll get it on
Sweet.
here for
New
next
drops
week.
coming through.
Here's the thing.
Make
So
sure to
Get
like, comment, and
excited.
subscribe so you can be up to date with the Joe Biden.
yeah, true. With the Joe Biden drops, because that's what we're all about here on the show. So, everyone, as you can tell, I'm currently on, goddamn it, morphine. Anyway,
Okay.
so that's what I
First
feel,
he
dude.
forgot
I'm
his
so
name, he
fucking
said his name
tired.
was Hot 97.
I'm so
Yeah,
fucking
we're about
tired.
97.
Pat's been casually dabbling with morphine.
It's true. Well, I
Trying
mean,
it
like, I'm
out.
not battling with it. It's, it just
It's
helps,
battling
just
you.
makes me
I
feel
didn't
better.
I didn't say battling. I just said dabbling. You're getting your toes, your little tippy toes wet.
You're just dipping your feet into the pond of morphine just for just a bit. You'll figure it
Everyone
out.
just casually does that.
We've all been there.
All right, everyone, we got movie trailers this week. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna move away from
You
that.
just shut up, man.
Yeah. You just shut
Come
up,
on,
man.
man.
All right, everyone, we got movie trailers this week. So we had 3 trailers, so we decided not to do a reaction to any of them because why? Anyway, first one up, you guys, big one that came out this week was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings by Marvel Studios. So did you guys, we were talking about this before the show, Burke. 90% of the people who watch this trailer have no idea what this is.
No.
Yeah, the one thing I knew from this trailer was just Aquafina.
That was
That
about
was it. That was what I
About
was
it.
like. Oh, I know her. I was like, she's
Well, I
driving
mean-
a bus at the end of the trailer. She's gonna
To-
be the kooky girl.
me,
When I
it's
saw
like-
that, I thought this is going to be the new update of Speed.
Actually,
Aquafina, yeah, new Sandra Bullock.
that's a good point. To me, that's like a perfect trailer because I watched it. I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to this, but I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, trailers haven't been that for a long time.
Yeah, what I enjoyed about it was it doesn't really hold your hand. You know what I mean? Where like, did you guys? All right, so actually, here's a litmus test. When they showed the guy in the throne, did you guys know who that was with the 10 rings behind him?
Nope.
There
That
was
was-
a guy in the throne.
That was
with the-
Sub-Zero, right?
That's Sub-Zero, yeah. No, so that
That's
character is
not my
actually
thing.
known as the Mandarin. He's actually in the comic lore, he's actually a big Iron Man villain. However,
that Mandarin?
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley?
okay, so Ben Kingsley's so you know where I'm going with this. This
Yeah.
is them righting a wrong that they made with a character a long time ago that people were like, what the fuck is this? And like, I had no attachment to the Mandarin, but I remember watching Iron Man 3 when that twist came. I was like, wait, this guy isn't like some hardened terrorist? I thought that's what we were dealing with. What the fuck is this? So I really like the way this looks like it's going.
What was that? Was there like a one shot or was it a post credit scene?
It was a
where
one
even
shot. It was a one shot.
they like even scapegoated they're like, it's not Guy Pearce and it's also not Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's them retconning something that they did that wasn't cool. Couple things I wanted to point out though was that so this movie obviously is going to feature a shit ton of mixed martial arts, like a fuckload, which is cool because if you notice in the trailer, there's a lot of wide shots that you actually get to see what's going on, kind of like the old school Jackie Chan movies. I was like, perfect. That's what this needs to be. Just, do the whole Marvel, we're being a superhero thing again, and just make good action sequences, and you'll be all right.
Dude, that's exactly how I felt like watching the trailer, and I think it was really interesting. I had watched. We're obviously going to talk later about Mortal Kombat, but having watched Mortal Kombat, and then I watched this trailer after the fact, and I don't know, it's mad cool. Like I was like, this feels like exactly I'm watching an old Jackie Chan kind of movie where it's not just super tight, super quick. Fight scene things where they're using a lot of camera to kind of evade doing really choreographed fight scenes.
Kind of like something else we watched this week, but let's keep going.
Exactly. It's a great, all of the synergy in this works fantastically. Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where it doesn't look like it's going to be a Marvel movie that takes itself massively seriously. It looks like it's going to be like a cool old samurai movie that you're going to watch and enjoy the hell out of. And I think to Nick's point where it's like, I don't know anything going into this. I'm going to probably watch this and I'm going to enjoy it.
I feel like that's the best way because I have never heard of Shang-Chi before this. Really? At all. No, not at all.
Nothing.
Nope.
Well, you haven't either?
Nope.
Yo.
I've known pretty much every Marvel character they've thrown at me thus far. Besides for Shang-Chi and the Eternals. These are all new for me.
All right.
We're getting to the bottom of the comics barrel when we get to Marvel characters. I'm not going to say they're not going to be good.
Bottom of the barrel is definitely the wrong terminology.
Okay. Maybe back of the closet.
End of the line.
Back of the closet.
We're talking back catalog.
Talking about the back nine of that Marvel catalog.
They're not bad coats. They're just the coats you don't wear all the time.
Well, all right. So I don't want to derail the conversation. I know this is not a topic that we have on our agenda.
Doesn't matter.
I do know that they mentioned like Russell Crowe let it slip that he's going to be with Zeus.
Bro, these fucking older actors don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's set. He already sold all his stuff in his divorce yard sale. But
fire me. What
I mean, like the fact that they're bringing in all these extended, like now they're talking about bringing in like the pantheon of Greek gods. They're like, okay, we ran through all of our top level heroes now.
Yeah, but
it's good time to be a Marvel
another
fan.
Subject we're getting into later. I mean, there's gonna be another fucking Captain America trilogy. So, you know what I mean? It's
Do
just
we know it's going to be a trilogy?
Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a fucking trilogy.
Right, well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
But that makes me think kind of too. It's like, as we will get into, Falcon Winter Soldier, I really enjoyed this being I'm not getting into the content, but I enjoyed it being like an 8 or, a short miniseries. So I would prefer, if we're doing a lot of that deep back catalog of all these Marvel and all of these different kind of variations, let's keep cranking them out like that. I don't need a massive blockbuster.
Boy, are you in luck then, and are you on the right fucking podcast, because you'll be watching all of them. All right, so Shang-Chi, looking forward to it. Looks good. Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. Look, I don't know anything about this. The only thing I wrote down is that this trailer's clearly using the same music from the Hereditary trailer, like the exact same song. Dog poop and cool animation were the three things I took away from this. So if anyone else would just like to take the lead on this, by all means.
And that's kind of what Love, Death, and Robots was. It's been a while since I watched the first season, but that's kind of what it was. It was a lot of cool animation, violence, and poop. There was one episode in general where it was maybe only 6 minutes long, but it was about I should have done my
yogurt one?
Yogurt, yeah, that's right. It was about yogurt taking over the world. That's right. Yeah. But it's random, it's weird, but it's like an animated it has like the same sort of takeaway as Black Mirror,
Mhm.
where it's
Yeah.
it takes a look at the negative effects of technology,
Well,
but
I
it's
would
just
say
done very strangely.
it's even more diverse than Black Mirror because I feel,
Yeah.
obviously you do have your happy ending stories with Black Mirror, but really I feel like this, you're not guaranteed to feel miserable when you walk away from it. It's like you might have a very optimistic, uplifting story. You might have one where you see people like their bodies eviscerated. It's like a real grab bag of storytelling.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's interesting. So it's for those. I mean,
For the
Pat,
uninitiated.
for the uninitiated. So it's all animated and they're all like 15 minutes or under. And I
Right.
think the first season had, or the first
Oh,
volume had
wait
like
a minute.
15 episodes
Is
or
there
something.
anime in this series at all in the first season?
There
It's
might have
different
been-
styles of animation every single episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what makes it really cool.
I think
Each,
I might
like,
have seen an
standalone
episode or two
short-
of this.
Each standalone short has been produced by like a different cast and crew. Some episodes and stuff like have some similarities and stuff, but the show creator is Tim Miller, and he had teamed up with actually David Fincher.
Oh,
Huh?
Tim Miller and Fincher. Wow. That's actually
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
So
I didn't know
this
that.
is coming off of a lot of the big kind of like Deadpool like fame and everything, and I think that's why a very like weird kind of like avant-garde show like this was
He
able to
also
pick
did
up some of the-
Terminator.
Also did Terminator.
The recent one?
He did Dark Fate, yeah. Which actually got pretty good reviews. Just everyone's just tired of seeing the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
But
But I mean,
I'll-
it's cool,
I'll check it
man.
out.
There were some really cool, like how Nick mentioned, there were some really cool, like just funny episodes where yogurt will take over the world, and then there's other ones that are like really. There's one that I remembered where it was super realistic, and it was one of the girls from, or one of the actresses from, Orange is the New Black, and it was like very hyper realistic
Yeah.
looking, but it was super like militaristic and it reminded me of Dead Space kind of.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Dead Space?
But yeah, it's just
Someone say Dead Space.
Yeah,
Who
I
said
got it.
Dead Space?
It's just it's fun. What I also love is the fact that they announced Volume 2 coming out in a month, and then right after that, they're like, by the way, Volume 3 coming out in 2022. I'm just wow, good for them for already buying a third season of this, even though it's been 2 years, I want to say, since season 1. So I just think it's cool. They're just doubling down on it.
They are.
Here's another season.
They are breaking it into sections too. The first season, or the whatever series, whatever you want to call it, was like 20 episodes. This one's only going to be like half of that.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
So they probably
So-
just ordered a season 2 and then just decided to split it up.
Well, that's the thing. I think what's interesting is because they're really giving a lot of smaller animation teams an opportunity to shoot their shot, and maybe I don't know if they would ever roll these over into larger series, but there's every single episode from the first volume. I'd watch a whole expanded series based on it, and I feel like this could be the future of like there's things like Channel 101 where it's like you write a pilot to a show and the audience votes on it, stuff like that, where it's like this could be a great launching pad for different animation teams to really just say, here's the best thing I have produced, put it on there, and then see if other studios, Netflix, whoever picks it up. And that's really what gets me.
I think that's cool, but I also feel like you end up with a lot of shit that way too. Like they definitely had a bunch of these show up. They're like, we're not putting these out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like there was there was a couple episodes where I was disappointed, like the Hitler one from season 1, where I was like, there's so much more possibility from the story, and it just leaned a little too heavy into the comedy. But I mean, there was very little to negatively critique from season 1. They really did a good job curating a good playlist of episodes.
To your point with that too, Nick, I think like a lot of the the magic in them comes from you're just getting to peek into this window for 15 minutes, and then you don't get to know anything else about it. And I get obsessed with content and stories that like give you the concept of there's a hell of a lot of more complicated things that you really want to like essentially be able to dive into like a wiki of, and then spend 10 days looking up every single connection.
Well, boy, are
I
you
don't
in
get
luck,
that.
because have you heard of Mortal Kombat? I'm kidding. Keep going.
I mean, Mike, a good example for that one, I think, is from season 1 where there's the farmers who like have the mech suits to fight all the.
Yeah.
I love
So
that
it's
episode.
like that one. There's a bigger, broader, so much of a bigger
Farmers
world
and mech
there
suits. I will be watching
Because there were
this show.
so
Yeah.
many farmers over there. That was
Yeah.
sick. There's so much more going on there.
and like that's a bigger, larger story. We don't know like where are these
Why?
the villains coming from? Why are they coming?
Mhm.
Why the farmers know and they're prepared? Like you could totally build a series, moving forward in the timeline or backwards.
But the thing is, like, I kind of don't want that.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
Kinda
it's
just
that,
let
like,
it exist
you're-
as it
you're-
is.
Yeah, you're balancing on the fence of that, where it's like, if you put it out, I would watch that and eat the hell out of that content. But it also is kind of like, do I really need to know why this is coming from? Like, just give me the like. It makes you feel like you're thrown in it and hit the ground running, and I love that kind of feeling when I'm watching content.
They trust the audience, and that's great. We don't have to be spoon-fed things. I mean, so many episodes. If you go back, where it's like the dialogue is like, "Hey, audience, are you too stupid to realize what's going on? Here, let me spoon-feed it to you."
Right, we're gonna talk about Winter Soldier later, Nick. Hold on.
Well, there's that, but hold on. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to address that point. I think it's a good thing that you don't hold your audience's hand, but then I feel like if you do that too much, you run the risk of The Witcher, which is like everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on?" for the first
They weren't
7
even trying to hold
episodes.
hands.
Yeah,
They were
and
just
then
like, oh, by the way, we're in the woods. Come find us.
yeah, and then season Season 2 actually comes out in fall. They confirmed of this year, so definitely I'll be binging that because I want to know what the fuck happens. But that whole show, everybody says that like it's actually too confusing. It's like I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know when any of this takes place. And like they drop little breadcrumbs in there, but it wouldn't be like, hey, it's been 10 years since da, 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 you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's the
Did any-
timeline's fucking
Did any
all
of y'all
over the
play
place.
The Witchers? Did
No,
any of you
I
play The
wanna
Witcher?
play
Okay.
The Witcher 3 though.
Did
I
you
played
watch
The Witcher
the-
3.
Did you watch the Netflix series?
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I played The Witcher 3. I even read the first book, like, because it's a massive book series too. I did both of those, and I still was struggling to understand what the hell was
Henry
going on.
Cavill
I knew
as
a little
Geralt,
bit about
though.
like the kingdom and about some of the warring kingdoms or whatever, but for the most part, all these characters
But-
just getting introduced. I'm like, who's that? Who the hell is this?
Henry Cavill as Geralt though is literally the best part of that show. Like
but-
I think I think Yennefer's
also-
story's cool too, but I mean like his actual performance is like, why the fuck hasn't this guy done TV before? Like he's so much better on a
He's
TV
so
show than he
good.
is in any of the movies he's in.
But again,
He's too
I feel-
handsome for TV.
That's true. He is too handsome for TV.
I feel they did themselves a disservice, like by putting him in there because he's such a big, or he's a very name brand person. So it's like you got the people who like myself. I've never played any of the Witcher games. I didn't know any of the lore or anything. I was like sick, like
Me
you did it,
either.
This looks cool.
Me
Yeah,
either.
Let
I
me
didn't-
watch it, and then we are sitting here confused as all hell, and then
Yeah.
I'm wondering where I'm like, Danny, if you're even confused when literally having read books about this.
Yup.
Just-
I've been in the world, and I
just
still didn't know what was
An
happening.
actual bit of trivia, like just fun, like actual trivia, not Pat trivia. an actual bit of trivia is that Henry Cavill, he actually campaigned for the role. He's a huge gamer. He's a huge nerd. And when he
played-
got cast as Superman, he missed the first 2 phone calls by the Warner Brothers executives and by what's his name? Zack Snyder. Because he was raiding in World of Warcraft. He was like, yeah, I was in the middle of a raid, can't pick up my phone.
I was playing WoW.
Yeah, exactly. Like fucking crazy. All right, so Love, Death, and Robots. I guess I gotta watch the first season though. I'm in.
You
So
have-
It's good. It's
If-
good.
I mean, like
And it's quick.
I've said in past, episodes where this show has made me really, being a part of nerd shit has made me really jaded. I cannot recommend anything more positively than Love, Death, and Robots. Like this is the one thing where I'm like, I have nothing bad to say about it at all.
definitely.
jaded,
All right,
Nick?
I'll definitely
Is
check
that
it
what
out.
you're getting out of this?
Just wait until the
Jaded.
second half of the show.
All right, so then third trailer of the week we have The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Now listen guys, I've tried using that excuse before all through Catholic school and goddamn it never worked. So
I've witnessed.
do you guys have any idea what this is based on? Like what this? So like okay, raise your hand if you've seen a Conjuring movie.
I've seen all of them.
Okay, I've seen all of them too, and I think they're great. Wait,
My boy
I
Pat-
think
my
we
boy
all
Patrick
watched the
Wilson.
first one together. The Mammoth crew here all watched the first one together. I remember.
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Either way, though, the notes that I have written down are terrible CGI, like horrible. That scene where they're on the cliff. Did you guys see that?
But,
Oh
yeah, they
my
go to pull her
god,
down.
it looks
Mhm.
awful.
Where the
Maybe
kid,
I'm not as jaded as Pat.
the one where the kid is on the table and he
Oh, and
like goes from being bent and then like
Yeah.
comes back like
Yeah.
a crushed up car.
Always
That
some
was
good body
terrible.
contortion in these movies. I like that.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Um,
all of the body horror. is a
So
big part of
I
it.
think the story is
Mhm.
interesting because so the first one was just like a normal haunted house, and I'm not going to get into the
Mhm.
deals of it, but the details of like what makes this one so special. But that's all it was. It was a haunted house movie. Second one, haunted house movie again. This one though is interesting because this one is all these Conjuring movies are based off the real life accounts of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were known as demonologists. I don't really buy into this, by the way. If anyone's curious, I think this
Okay.
shit is just as real as like
This-
fucking
this is-
Iron Man.
This is Pat's religion, please.
Yeah. So pay
Please, no one-
attention
no
and
one
don't disrespect. Okay, the fuck, freedom of speech here. So no, but basically this Conjuring movie is about the story of them testifying in court, against the state for this kid who committed murder, who they tried using a plea of insanity due to possession. And it's a real life court case. It was big news at the time. There's a book on it. I don't know the details, and I don't want to go researching it either because I don't want to ruin the movie for myself. But I think
know
it
it was, like,
sounds
back in
cool.
the
That's
80s.
surprising for you, Pat.
Yeah, I think it was like 79. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's You know what? As I was looking into this, I did not realize that there was a Conjuring cinematic universe.
I didn't realize there was 3 Annabelle movies.
That
Oh
was
my
my point.
God,
Nick. I was
dude.
like,
They-
okay,
all
I
right.
remember that. I remember Annabelle from I think it was.
have
the
you guys
Conjuring
seen?
one.
Have you guys seen the Annabelle movies?
I have
That's-
not.
Oh,
I've
Nick,
seen all the other ones.
Nick, we've seen the first Annabelle together. We went and saw that in theaters.
I don't. If we did, I have
It's
no
terrible. It's
recollection.
terrible. So thank God.
Nick blocked
The
it out
second
of,
one though,
being
Annabelle,
scared.
I think it's
too
called.
scared.
I think it's called Annabelle the Creation. That one's actually
Creation,
pretty
yeah.
good, and that's the guy who directed. Have you guys seen Lights Out?
Yeah, David.
David F.
Sandberg, right?
Sandberg, and then he
Oh,
went on
yeah,
to
yeah.
do
David
Shazam.
S. Pumpkin.
Yeah, so he's actually like a competent filmmaker. The newest one I didn't see, got decent reviews, but it's
Yeah,
just like I'm
Annabelle
just
Comes
fucking
Home.
I'm fucking done with Annabelle. Like, get out of here. So the
I
other
didn't realize La Llorona was part of this series.
I
either.
didn't
Well,
realize
it
that either, and
wasn't.
I love the concept of La Llorona as like a cryptid.
yeah.
So but I did not enjoy that.
That movie got the J.J. Abrams treatment, though. That movie was like, hey, we screen tested this, and it sucks. How can we make people watch it? Say it's in the Conjuring universe. Got it. And
Yeah.
so the guy who made that movie is now, he's writing and directing this Conjuring movie. Every
Yeah,
Conjuring
Michael
movie has been
Chaves.
made by James Wan up until this point. So it could be bad. Like, it has a possibility of being shit because of this new guy.
Mhm.
And because he also did The Nun, and The Nun was fucking
Well,
awful. So I feel.
The nun was Corin Hardy. It wasn't this guy.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, all right, then never mind.
Yeah,
Forget
no,
I said that.
Michael Chaves did. And the only reason I'm looking at this, believe me, I'm not a Conjuring.
You better
You're
get
not
your
a
shit
Nun
right on your
fan.
Conjuring facts now.
I'm cross-checking us while we're doing this.
Yeah.
He had done some other work on a couple other movies, but he's not a big.
Yeah, no,
he does
he's
have a
not.
deep catalog.
But yeah,
He did
but
do the
basically,
music video for Billie Eilish's "Bury a Friend," though.
oh wait, I do kind of remember hearing that now, though. Now that you say that what I wanted to say was that James Wan opted not to direct this one because he actually has another horror franchise that he wrote and directed, and going to be launching that one in September through Warner Brothers. I can't remember what it's called, but I mean, like, that's what this guy does. This guy, Insidious, Saw,
It's
The Conjuring,
Aquaman too. is what it is.
Aquaman. Uh,
The
um,
trench.
the trench. He did one Fast and Furious. The guy just makes fucking money makers. The dude knows how to launch franchises. So he's going to do that again in September, and I look forward to that one more than this one, but this one looks cool too. Hooray.
He also was the executive producer on a lot of the Saw films, which is really interesting.
James Wan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wrote and directed the first one.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah.
didn't realize that was him.
Oh, yeah, there's Darth Maul. There he is.
What?
I saw that movie on
That
Easter.
movie freaked me.
I
the
saw that
hell
movie
out.
on fucking Easter, Burke.
Like,
Oh
my gosh.
what was I gonna say? I think like what's really fun about these movies is that like they exist in sort of like these weird like hyper reality. You know what I mean? Where they take
Right.
elements from the real world, but also like they don't rely on them. You know what I mean? And that's what I think is going to be an interesting combination is like, how are they going to combine like courtroom politics with these like weird entity like talk? You know what I mean? Like all this
Yeah, it's
weird
got
stuff
that-
about, it's got that exorcism of Emily Rose vibe where it was like really a courtroom drama, just like caked in all this weird like exorcism stuff. So it's one of those things. I just hope it's going to be good. That's all.
Yeah, it's got the magical realism element of it where I'm gonna go back to what we talked about with last week. I want Guillermo del Toro to do some more of this kind of stuff because
yeah.
that man is the king of magical realism, in my opinion.
That's
And I
Danny's
wanna
favorite
see him-
movie, Pan's Labyrinth, right, Danny?
100%.
Yep. Told you
Exactly.
guys.
Pan's Labyrinth is amazing, and I want to see him. And there are like horror elements to Pan's Labyrinth. There's a bunch of like kind of like spooky things going on. With
I think that's classified as a horror film, is it not?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's like horror fantasy or some shit.
I would, yeah, but I would love to see him. And again, I don't know his catalog super deep, so he may have had some kind of like terror and horror or other films more deeply. But I want to see some other messed up stuff by him.
I think Crimson Peak just made it onto Netflix, so I would check that out. That's another one of his movies that I haven't
Will
seen.
do.
All right, boys. Moving on for the main topic for tonight. Or first, all right. Let me ask you guys a question. I wrote it a certain way in the schedule for tonight. So, do you want to get Mortal Kombat out of the way first, and then we can do Falcon Winter Soldier?
I think we do that because I think we're gonna have more to probably to talk about for Falcon.
Okay,
Winter
all right,
Soldier.
all right, fair.
We'll-
Okay,
we'll-
I
I'll
agree.
let-
Like
Another
Falcon
bit
Winter
strong.
Soldier
I
is
agree.
a little more
Falcon Winter Soldier's got a little bit more meat on the
rich.
bones.
A little more meat on the bones.
Yeah. All right.
No.
One might say
don't-
that
Pat,
it's
don't want to touch on the news?
it's more like that just Mortal Kombat doesn't have anything going on. Oh wait, I
Stop
forgot.
it.
We fucking
you
did that,
stop
didn't we?
it.
I don't actually have that. I don't have that written down on here. Whoopsies. Oh, okay.
Well, all right.
What-
So,
so-
Discord no longer in negotiation with Microsoft. They're staying independent.
They're an IP. They're staying independent.
KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. They're doing a remake.
I'm looking forward to it.
One thing I do just want to point out on that
Go
one, just
for it.
real quick, is that I've heard rumors that they are changing the style of fighting in the game,
Hmm.
where it used to be like a turn-based style of fighting, like a real-time strategy. Now it's going to be much more action RPG.
Yes.
I have not
Thank
been able to
God.
confirm
Thank
that.
the fucking
However,
Lord.
As someone who is a big KOTOR fan, I'm totally for this. However, I will say it does take away a little bit from the strategy of fighting when you have your three people. Like there was, you get this guy into heal, you get your utilities going and everything. However, I'm still a proponent of this.
Yeah,
change.
but it'll be like
So-
that final. It'll be like the new Final Fantasy, where
I was
like you
exactly
can
gonna say that.
do real time fighting, and then you hit a button and it slows the action down, and you pick what like item or whatever you want to use,
Okay.
and then you use it, and then you can just hit another button and it'll change you to your next character that's fighting, and you can do the same thing. So
Okay.
I really like that combat system when you have
strategies.
multi characters. So I would look forward to that.
And it also, and I think it does not pull away from any of like the difficulty and the strategy in that way because it's almost like even
It's
more.
just a
you
different
can't just sit there-
implementation. That's all it is. It's just a
Yeah,
different
but
implementation.
You can't just like sit there and be like, okay, well, let me figure out what I'm gonna do, this because you're getting your ass kicked while everything live is happening anyway.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it is forcing you to actively play a little bit more
And then,
engaged.
the last what's it called? The last story of the night was they fucking pulled the wool over our eyes, boys. Disney and Sony have reached a deal for streaming. So basically that would mean 18 months after Netflix has had the exclusive stream, it can go to Disney Plus or Hulu. And so that basically means that once the Spider-Man movies are done over on Netflix, they're going to Disney Plus. And I don't think it's an indefinite thing though, right, Nick?
I think it's until 2026.
It said 22 to 26.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Which just another great move by Sony. Just
Another win.
more money.
Not that I'm in Sony's corner, but I got game respect game.
Exactly. You just gotta respect it. They're
That's
just
right.
wheeling and dealing
That's
over
right,
here.
Nick. You've made some really lucrative streaming deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this show is fucking
It's just
syndicated, and it is diversified in over 30 markets now, and that's all due to you, good sir. So
dude, when
give him a
I-
round of applause, everyone.
I have two things that come to mind: Sony and Nick McFly.
Yeah, Sony and Nick McFly. Man, I just didn't write that down, and I'm an idiot. All right, anyway.
Hey, it took us literally. We did it in 2 minutes. I'm proud of us.
I am proud of
picturing
us.
Nick in like suspenders and like
No riffing.
tiny 80s.
No,
like 80s,
no riffing.
like Gordon
Shame.
Gekko.
With a blue shirt but a white collar.
Yes.
Yes,
That's what I was
yes.
looking for.
Slick, my hair is slicked back.
Greed.
Jordan
is
Belfort.
good.
Life could be, what is it? Life is good, but it could be better. The fuck is that?
Look around. Look at life.
Look around.
life.
Look at life.
That's
All right.
gotta be a drop.
Anyway,
That does look good.
Mortal Kombat. What is there to say about Mortal Kombat that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? All right.
I know.
Like,
What?
like
Wait, I gotta hear this thought finish.
Yeah, I'm waiting
It's
on bated breath here, Pat.
so fucking horrendous. It is so unwatchable to the point where my girlfriend, who does not sit there and analyze movies like I do, she saw the line of dialogue where the guy in the weird hair headdress said to Sub-Zero, he said, what's his name? Haiban or whatever. He goes, I am not Haiban. I am Sub-Zero. Baihan, whatever. He's like, that's how much I paid attention. He was just like, I'm Sub-Zero. When he said that, I literally went like this. I was just like, they really are just they're just, every line of dialogue is exposition. Every action sequence is cut like a fucking 18-year-old did it. Every single movement, there's a cut. You can't focus on any of the action. All the characters suck across the board. At least the supporting characters can fucking act. Cole Young, as soon as he opened his mouth, the first thing I said was, oh, so he can't act either. Like, the whole movie sucks from start to finish. That being said, I was not trying to not watch it. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you might like this, but I feel like this movie itself is not anything special in this whole, like, make video games movies thing. It has every problem every video game movie has. They didn't simplify anything. They didn't fix anything. It's just a cash grab. That's all it fucking
They
is.
didn't need
So
to.
Pat, did you like it?
I have a question before we get into it. Can we go around and like, who is your favorite character? Mike, let's start with you. Who's your favorite character?
I liked Hanzo. I mean, who later ends up being Scorpion because
Which-
Be my
what
favorite
the-
as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, he had like, that's the thing.
Love how
the first
tilted Pat's
the
getting.
first 10 minutes, I
Pat,
was
it's
like,
not your turn.
the first 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? Not awful. Not terrible so far. And then they get to the MMA gym and they start talking in the fucking locker room. I was just like, oh, this is what we're going to do the whole fucking movie?
What do you think about the like the Mickey character, like the Sylvester Stallone's Mickey character?
Oh, that guy? That guy? I was almost convinced that this was going to go the way of him having a coronary, and that's why Cole fights in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Oh, which, by the way, you guys,
that his
for
daughter
a
is
movie
his
called
stuntman,
Mortal
too.
Kombat, there's no fucking Mortal Kombat in the movie.
Well, there's gotta be a sequel.
Sub-Zero, the actor who played
Sequel,
Sub
Mortal Kombat, dude.
Sub-Zero, signed up for 4 sequels. So they plan on making this a franchise. And I don't know the numbers, like the exact numbers, but I know that it made the same exact opening day numbers as Godzilla did. So it made money on some front.
We're part of the part of the problem.
It was I think so far box office is at like 50 million.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yep. Yeah, you'll be getting 4 sequels to this.
Like the movie, it virtually paid for itself already.
Yep.
55 million. Exactly.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. There's your Mortal Kombat sequel.
Who are y'all's favorite characters?
Oh, okay, Danny, you can
I
go.
want to hear Danny next.
Oh, Will Hunting.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Will Hunt.
Touche. Oh yeah.
I watched Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
I watched Good Will Hunting.
So I can't say I have a favorite character, but I can say I have a character I hated the least. And I'll tell you who that was. It was Kano. Because Kano is actually the voice of reason for all of this bullshit that's going on. He just gets sucked into this whole like I get he has the mark or whatever and he killed it off some guy, whatever, right? But the whole time he's like, fuck this, I don't want to be here. Why do I need to defend Earth? And then fucking Cabal comes and's like, hey, we'll just buy you out. And I was rooting for him. I was like, please
like,
kill
that,
everyone.
yeah.
Like I fucking
Cabal
hate
was pretty
everyone.
cool.
I did like Cabal, but like, you know, it's just like all right. I'll tell you the one thing I fucking
Let it all out.
absolutely hated. Finish them. Flawless victory.
Kano wins.
Kano wins.
Fight.
What about
Fight.
the consecutive kick moves?
God
Dude,
damn
I
it.
love this is the thing. This
What
is why
was-
I really enjoyed
What was the other one? What was the
film.
one? What was the one that Melina said when she licked the fucking scythe? Either way, why do you feel the need to put the audible call outs from the game in the movie as incomprehensible
What
dialogue?
What else do they have?
That's
all they've
it.
got.
Yeah, buddy.
They have this list of characters with endless lore, and they're just like, we're gonna make an hour and 45-minute movie. The protagonist is gonna be someone that we're gonna introduce someone no one's ever heard of, and by the way, nobody likes him either. And on top of that, we're gonna shit all over the lore of Mortal Kombat in general, and we're gonna do this weird fucking thing where like Sub-Zero's just the villain. You know what I mean? It's like it's so weird. I'm not even a fucking Mortal Kombat fan. It's just fucking stupid and absurd.
Look, I had no expectations going into this movie, and I almost negative expectations going into this movie because I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. To me, Mortal Kombat is a video game with cool depth, animations, and like super gratuitous violence. That's what this was. I was satisfied.
They delivered. So
Exactly.
they delivered on your expectations,
They
basically.
entirely delivered. I thought the funniest part of the movie for me was I think when Kano is fighting who's the guy that gets his soul stolen? Is it Kung Lao?
Kung Lao, yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
when Kung
he's
Lao
fighting-
comes through the fucking floor, like, okay, I guess that's just his entrance.
Kano's fighting Kung Lao, and Kung Lao just keeps doing like low spin kicks and
Right.
knocking him down. And then Kano starts jumping, and I was like, this looks like you're playing the video game and you're just spamming a shitty button.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know you did this on purpose, and it made me laugh. So thank you for that.
That being said, I do like the stuff between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I thought that's
the only.
that's
good
the
stuff.
only redeemable part of the movie. I think that if they just made a movie focusing on Sub-Zero and Scorpion, that it would have been way better. I also thought to myself, like, how did Bryan Singer do this? Like, not that I want to bring Bryan Singer up, but how did Bryan Singer do this better 20 years ago with the first X-Men? You know what I mean? The movie's only like 2 hours long. This movie is relatively the same length. And they centered one character, you know what I mean? And all these other ensemble characters with huge lore as well. And, you know, they don't really delve into that in those movies, but they make them believable and real and three-dimensional. It's like, what the fuck happened here?
Well, I mean, I think a big part of this movie was it's Mortal Kombat, so you know, and it's not the video game. So when people die, it is final, kind of.
Well, no,
Minus
that's
the
what he
last
said.
one.
He said at the end, he's like, death is not
I know,
the only.
minus
That's
the
another
last-
portal.
Yeah, another
minus
portal.
The last 10 minutes of the movie. But so you go in with the expectation, or I went in with the expectation that we're going to see a lot of people dying, and we're going to see a lot of people dying frequently and constantly. So I don't need exposition. I don't need character development. You're literally on a character select screen. Pick somebody, drop them into the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
And then when they lose, they die.
I will say
Eventually, the
this.
sequels, they'll come back.
All right, so the opening of the movie, right? With Hanzo and everything. When he made the little thing and started fucking
Right.
everyone up, I was like, oh, this is the way that we're going. I was like, they're telling the origins of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I was like, okay, that's cool, like what their rivalry is about. But you never learn why, like why he tried to kill their whole bloodline. You never learn how, like, what the transition between was it Baihan and to Sub-Zero. And
no, he said I'm Sub-Zero now.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're right.
And-
Fuck
and
me.
Even Hanzo was like, no, I'm Scorpion now.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you go.
Hundreds
They
of
should
years
figure that.
later,
Well-
people change. You
Okay.
don't go by, little Nicky anymore. I don't go by Mikey.
Don't ask
I-
my grandma that.
I will
She
say this
tell you.
though.
Exactly.
It was kind of funny how like everyone gets their superpowers, right? Like Kane can like burn people, and what's her name gets a mark, and she gets these big guns that she could shoot and whatever, right? And then fucking Cole gets a nice shirt, like
No, when you
Dude,
punch
he
him, he
gets-
gets strong.
He gets armor and he gets potential energy.
Yeah.
The coolest part of the movie that I enjoyed, like that was the standout, was when Kung Lao took his spinny hat and threw it into the ground and just rode the harpy down.
oh, that
through
was
it.
fucking
Oh, yeah,
crazy,
that was
yeah.
Cut her in half.
I mean,
that I was like, yo.
That's the other thing too, is like I kind of feel like even though it was rated R and it was cool to have like the crazy fatalities, I felt like everything in between that didn't need, like, all the fighting themselves was like weird, like PG-13 stuff. And then when it got to like, hey, I'm gonna fucking split this guy's head open with the palms of my hands, that's when it got like super CG bloody. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, that being said, Scorpion does stab that one guy in the head in the beginning of the movie, and it's just like a blood volcano.
Yeah, it's just like.
But-
In the first 20, 30 minutes was some of the bloodiest movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of fucking blood.
I
It
like
was
the
gratuitous, don't get me wrong, but I mean it was accurate. If you were to stab someone like that, they would bleed that
What
way.
was
I mean,
what
the
was
only
the
one that I
scene-
would say would rival is Mandy. Maybe it was bloodier.
Okay, the part
Well,
where
yeah.
like Raiden gives, which by the way, Raiden didn't fight at all. I was like, what the fuck is this?
He doesn't fight.
the
He's
part-
he's the top dog.
The part where he gives where Cole gets Hanzo's whatever. He's a descendant. He's this. He's that. Right.
It's the
and it-
Kunai,
I am so confused as to what happened. So did he like bleed? And when he bled on that, it like brought in Scorpion from hell, or did like Scorpion happen to be like, what's the justification there? You know what I
I
mean?
don't think there was any, and I think you're thinking too hard about it.
I think it was the whole concept of if you want me to loosely try and put a couple
You know what?
strings
Don't,
together.
don't. This is like, I'd rather not. I'd rather, my
Well,
head
it
hurts.
does have, because you see Hanzo in hell, and then you see his kunai getting all of those weird
Right.
things that eventually become the shirt for Cole. So I wonder if it was like once Cole's Arcana was unlocked and the shirt, and then when he was able to actually touch it and get his blood on it, there was some kind of rebirth thing for that.
That last fight scene was one of my favorite parts of the movie, where they're in the like octagon.
Oh, that was cool. I did like that.
That was yeah, and the two Hanzo and Cole teamed up. That was a cool fight.
Dude, when Scorpion fucking put the thing through him, his kunai, and he pulled him forward, I was like, here comes, you know?
They
And he
gonna
just,
do it. They
get
gonna do
over
it. They
here. I
gonna
was
do
like,
it.
oh, he did it. And then after that,
What's that to
I
do?
liked that part. The same thing I liked in the trailer when he cuts him, he freezes his blood and he stabs him in the back. Like I said, I like all of that. I like the Scorpion and I like the Sub-Zero stuff. It's just like every other character, they were just like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck.
That's a great take.
They really did Sonya dirty for like the first hour,
Dude,
15
she
hour
was
and a half.
so bad. She was really bad. I mean, Kano at least like steals every scene he's in, like the reptile scene. Which, my God, what did they do to Reptile over the years?
I never played the games. I thought that fight scene was cool. I don't know what Reptile is supposed to look like or act like, but
he's supposed to have some sort of sentient. Like originally, he was just a green, like Sub-Zero Scorpion model. That's what he was. Yeah. And then over the years, he's changed into like this humanoid thing that like is just trying to find his people. He's not just supposed to be an animal though, and that's what was fucking crazy. But yeah, other than that, look, avoid this at all costs. Like if you're not like this fixes, it doesn't move the needle for video game movies. As a matter of fact, it just continues to contribute to the narrative that they're all dog shit. And what's it called? Even if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, I don't think this is worth your time either. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think so at all. I think the Scorpion and Sub-Zero stuff is great. As a matter of fact, here's a fucking idea for a spin-off, Warner Brothers. Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Make it happen. There you go. And
I'm sure they're working on
the fight. I mean, they're gonna make that fucking trench movie until we stop them. And then
we stop them.
Score one for us.
Score one for us. And I just can't do the whole I just don't stop. No. Just stop it. Don't do it ever again.
I completely agree though. Like even though I had some positives to say about this is a completely skippable movie. You do not need to waste 2 hours watching it. Watch a 5-minute compilation of the fatalities and you're gold.
Yeah.
If you're a Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah, if not just
one thing that I just wanted to say that's not even really related to the movie, but as far as we're talking about like moving the needle for video game movies, I would love to see Guillermo del Toro do a BioShock movie, which I know
we should do that. Actually, you know what?
He was talking about he was very interested, and I know, but I would love to see that movie because that would change the game.
We should do that. We should do that in the future. We have a couple weeks to cover stuff, but if we have an open week, we should make that a topic.
Guillermo del Toro's.
Well, no. What video game movie would you like to see?
All right, I'm down.
Not terrible. Danny, how you doing in the cheap seats over there? You all right?
We're doing amazing.
Okay.
I'm just really glad that I don't have to go back and watch this piece of shit.
I'm really happy that I thought you were about to be like, I'm just really happy to be here this week. I'm here to just cheer on my friends.
Happy to be here.
You go, guys.
All
Loving
right.
the commentary.
Okay. So now the real reason we're all here this week.
Wow,
Falcon Winter Soldier.
NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Don't let it trace back too far. Get NordVPN.
Nord security protection.
Double-ended dildos. Are they coming for your family? More at 10.
100.
So Falcon Winter Soldier. We watched it. We did 2 episode reviews. Couldn't keep doing it because we're terrible. And so we're going to talk about the series as a whole. I guess we'll get started. Nick, I know you have lots of thoughts. Burke, I know you have lots of thoughts. Danny, you probably have not as many thoughts, but still a helpful amount. So I'll just get started with this.
Okay. What that was supposed to mean.
Pat's just, he's getting hit in the face, so he's ready to hit
quantifying. Okay, I got punched in the mouth on Friday. All right, I'm a little on edge. Okay, I'm sorry.
Deserved it.
I did not deserve it. Okay, actually, side note, Burke, we're at dinner after that, and Danny and John goes, Danny, you told me he deserved it. And Danny goes, all right, I didn't say he deserved it. What I said was he had it coming. There's a difference.
I didn't say he deserved it in that moment, but
he did have it coming, though.
A small technicality,
yeah.
But important nonetheless.
Papua New Guinea. Anyway, we watched Falcon Winter Soldier. I'll just start off with I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I this is like a overall for me. I could have done without this, but it's cool that we have it. Like that's
the series overall.
Yeah,
or the finale?
Yeah, the series overall actually, and it's not like it's just an execution. They're good ideas, but I didn't love the execution. And I really feel like the last episode too is just kind of just like, they're like, oh, all the way to the finish line. You know what I mean? Like they're just stumbling with the ball the whole way there. So
I think they had difficulty. I think they had some difficulty trying to be consistent in the tenor that they wanted to approach it with.
Well, you know what? That's actually a good point, because that was one thing I was going to bring up, is that I didn't realize this until about 4 or 5 episodes in. The tone changes wildly every
100%.
From
Like a
scene to
switch.
scene. Sometimes it's like, hey, we're jokey buddy comedy, and then it's like, hey, we're political satire, or we're political commentary, and then it's like, nah, we're a big bang 'em up action movie.
Yeah, and then we're referencing, biblical Cain and Abel kind of shit in the background where Nick's got right now. It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like the tone, like I said, wildly changes, and I think
I think the best example that you could say for the tone is the scene in episode, I want to say 1 or 2, where they're in counseling together, and they're just being jabronis about being, and they have to be near each other, and they're acting
forced to
yeah,
get along.
and then there's straight up America is systemically racist, and it's like, what are you trying to do with this series? I like both of them, but it's like, pick a lane.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with them trying to, a highlight on America's systemic racism, but the way they went about it is just all of a sudden it's just like, all right, now we're talking about racial commentary. It just came out of nowhere in the 4th or 5th episode.
But there's also this commentary on international diplomacy and politics as well, which is so fucking weird.
Purpose on it.
Globalism.
Honestly, the main villain I didn't know was the main villain until the 3rd or 4th episode. I didn't know what her point was. I didn't know what she was. What were they voting on in the second to last episode? I have no idea.
Danny, the best part is I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but Captain America, Anthony Mackie's speech at the end, where he's just like, Senator, this,
you
the fact that you're just saying Senator in quotes, it's like you're just saying blanket platitudes.
Okay.
And none of this has any greater meaning.
I'm glad you brought this up, Nick. So I'll say this. We're all white dudes. We don't know anything about race. We don't know that experience. I 100% admit there's 2 Americas, though. And Sam Wilson says the words, "I'm a black man in America carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand?" You've been Captain America at this point for 35 minutes. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay?
Dude,
I understand that is not indicative of his, what he's talking about is he's talking about his, the black experience in America. That's what he's talking about. However, it's just the way they handled it. It's just what are you talking about? If you were Captain America for 2 years at this point, then yeah, you'd have a point. But now,
I mean, that part that doesn't bother me so much, because it's all the conversations with Isaiah. Episode 5, I thought episode 5 was fucking perfect. That episode was incredible. I loved all the stuff about Isaiah and the super soldier program and all that stuff. But that
testing on people,
that speech was so bland and one note, and it didn't have any real energy to it. It didn't feel like it was relevant. It just felt like ripped from the pages of a comic book. It's like, okay, Captain America said this in a comic book from 1950. It didn't feel real to me. Whereas everything else in this series felt like a real commentary on America 2021.
And his suit,
I was really
his fucking suit is the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen. Why does he not have a helmet? Why?
I thought the same thing.
What is it? And here's the thing. I know the suit is from the comics. I didn't like it then either. I
had a chance.
Anthony Mackie's little pointy ears sticking out, and it is blocky. The neck is the same size as the head.
I was just
shoulders.
I think I wrote that. I wrote that down. I was like, I hate the suit.
I hate it.
What's with the helmet? It's why can't he have head protection?
I was wondering why there was no top of the helmet. However, if we're looking at a pure action standpoint, coolest Captain America I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That with the wings and everything, cool as fuck.
Yeah,
Captain
I'm kind of split on the wings, because the thing I liked aesthetically about Captain America is that he used a defensive weapon offensively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that was what I
from
liked
that,
about him.
It was sweet
He's
as
still-
hell
I
to
mean,
watch him
he's
fly
still doing
around.
The
And like,
super serum in his
as a
veins.
super soldier, as a person not being a super soldier, then fighting a super soldier, to use the wings to help ground him to like take a punch, that was fucking cool as
or
hell.
even
the whole,
throw
the
a
whole
punch,
The whole
yeah.
point
Yeah.
of that is that it's it's that which I thought that they handled.
Nobody
that
talked
well,
about Jax's
actually.
arms in Mortal Kombat. But keep going.
I was just keeping.
Keep going. Keep going.
But like, I actually think like again because then you're talking about. I did think that like the fact that Falcon didn't have any super serum so like in him or anything was a much better allegory for race and racial disparity and having different standards and having different like from just ground up than anything else that was actually physically discussed in the show.
Yeah.
For him needing to literally be lifted and elevated by things that are supporting him because he's already starting in the negative. Fantastically written in that way. That is, it's a bit deep, and I'm not saying like, oh, look at me for understanding this, but I'm just saying like that's part
You're
of
coming off like a real pretentious asshole right
coming
now.
off like a real dickhole here, and but it's like I felt like they really could have tried to underline a lot more of those elements and find ways to do it without him literally saying, "Senator,
just right back up
do
your ass.
better."
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that aspect as well.
So
I mean,
I might make a comment that might you guys might not understand. Do you guys know who Neil Breen is?
no.
Neil Breen is like he makes a lot of low budget movies and he's very out of touch with reality. But his whole like he thinks
Sounds like something I'd really like, but let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm
This is way lower budget than what you're thinking of. But he thinks like all of his movies have to do with like government conspiracies. And there's this I just watched a review on one of his movies recently where it's like people were like he had this speech and he had all this info, all this dirt on senators and congressmen, and he was like, I have the dirt, I have the information on the senators, and they all just started offing themselves because they didn't want all this dirt to come out. But it's just like unnamed senators and important people, and that's I felt like that senator, we knew nothing about this character at all. I feel like had we built up some type of relationship, I know he was the same guy that gave Sharon Carter her her citizenship back, or like let her off the hook.
Which funny you bring that up. Let's put a pin in that. Come back to that.
It just felt like they could have tried a little bit harder to make that last Captain America speech at the end a little bit more impactful, rather than him just talking.
Well, that was the whole point. It's supposed to be again, a metaphor. Like if I'm going to give this an unnamed senator, I'm talking not just to you, Senator.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, let me ask you this
audience.
question.
Wink.
So like,
But still, heavy.
do you guys enjoy this corner of the MCU? Because this corner is like, although it's bombs and bullets, right? But it's really the politics side of the MCU.
Mhm.
The first Captain America movie was all about World War II. The second movie literally came out when the Edward Snowden shit came out, and those things went hand in hand. And Captain America 3 was all about personal liberties and government agendas. So I like that it's these characters, and I like this corner, like where politics can exist and they can have these conversations with superheroes, right? But I just kind of feel like that this show started out on a really good foot, and it went to episode 4, 5, and it was probably 4 whenever he fucking off that one guy.
Whenever Zemo left.
Yeah, whenever Zemo left. When it got to that point, and then after that, it was just like douche. It was just down.
I really enjoyed 5. I really enjoyed 5 too. I think everything was really strong. I just think 6, they did not stick the landing.
I feel like this could have been a better movie, like a 3-hour movie.
Had they trimmed the fat a little bit and just made it a movie,
Oh,
it would have
actually,
been so much better.
Nick, it's funny you bring that up. Danny, you go after me because this is important. They were supposed to. They were supposed to have cameos. They were supposed to have cameos from Yelena, from Black Widow, Julie Louise
Dreyfus.
Dreyfus was supposed to make her debut in Black Widow and then, make an appearance in this. And Steve Rogers had a flashback cameo that got cut too because it was in context to whatever was going on with Black Widow. So they cut shit out of this that would have made sense if Black Widow had been out already. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well,
I
well, I
wonder
just wanna
what
say on
else,
that-
what else changed in the narrative if they had to cut those aspects out.
It's possible that's why that episode didn't land as strongly as the rest of them. But I do want to say that final scene with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Wyatt Russell, that also was super corny, and it just didn't feel like it matched the tenor of the rest of the series.
Is he good or is he bad at the end?
That's
Like,
what
they say
no.
that he's-
You guys don't
is he-
understand. You guys don't understand.
Is
John
he
Walker's.
good or is he bad?
That's what I think's great. That's what I think's great. He's like Loki. Loki, you don't know if he's gonna be good or bad. So if something interesting is always gonna happen.
The fact that he is a U.S. agent, does that mean good or
No,
bad?
he
Is that a
thinks-
good
I mean,
thing?
He
that's-
thinks
that's
he's
more-
doing good, but then it's it's again commentary on if
The
you're a
police.
U.S. the police, a U.S. soldier. It's like you are doing you're doing
Okay.
good by what you think you're doing and what you're told, but if you want to take a global perspective on things, are you truly doing good? So it's like the duality of it.
I think that last scene of him, trying to save the people in the back of that, military van was to show that he does believe in the same truth and justice and goodness that we do. It's just that, he's more driven by his emotional side than
Yeah.
Steve
Well-
Rogers. Where it's usually he's driven by these animalistic impulses,
Which
but
was-
he does believe
Well-
in the
Which was underlined all the time by being,
Yeah.
there's one
Actually,
Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers
I
is
have
different.
it's
Yeah.
piggybacking off of that idea. I do have this thought that I think this show is genius for doing. John Walker is the hidden genius of this show because
100%.
you are watching the show called Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, right? You already have a bias towards the Avengers that you love. So in the first 2-3 episodes, when John Walker is assuming himself as Captain America, you're like, fuck this guy. This guy sucks. And our heroes are like that as well. They're like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy
That's
sucks.
the whole point.
Yeah.
It's just he's already coming from a negative place in
Right.
everyone's minds.
Episodes 4 and 5, though, that's when you see the struggle, the internal struggle of the character himself,
Yeah.
what makes him tick. And then he loses his best friend. And the thing is that I think, Nick, you and I talked about this earlier in the week when that happened, was that every single one of us would have killed that person. Captain
100%.
America wouldn't have, though. And that's why he's not fit to be Captain America. But the interesting thing is that he still believes he's entitled to be. You know what I mean? Kind of like Kylo Ren, who's called to the light, but wanted to be entitled to the dark side. So, Nick, please bite your lip. So I see you're starting to foam at the mouth. So I think he is literally the best written character because your emotions change. The show changes your emotions to how you feel about him, and you're already disposed to those emotions. And then at the end, I think he kind of has a little bit of a redemption arc in the sense that
Like coming back.
he comes back and he's like, nah, I'm going to fucking put these people in the ground. And he makes his own shield. You know what I mean?
Well,
to
to me,
prove
he's
himself.
more like a Punisher type character,
Yeah.
where he's like, you might not agree with his methods, but you agree with what he's fighting for.
Yeah.
Or you can at least understand why he understands, or why
you understand his
pers-
agenda a bit more.
Yeah, his agenda is justifiable
Yeah.
because it's very human, it's very emotionally driven, and I completely agree with Pat. I think his entire arc and how they wrote him in and how we hated him and how we
It's
kinda
the
like
genius
him,
of
and
the
then we
whole
feel
show.
for him is the best part.
It's
of this
it's
whole
one of the
sub-series.
greatest written characters in the MCU. And
And
I'm
somebody
really
pointed out-
looking forward to him, Sam, Bucky, Sharon, and Zemo all being in the next Captain
friends.
America trilogy.
Just bestie friends.
Somebody
Who the
pointed
fuck is
out.
Sharon?
You remember we were talking about in the VOD. We were saying how his head looks so stupid in his Captain America helmet. Somebody pointed out, and I think it's really worth mentioning, how his new U.S. agent uniform fits him better. Like whoever the costumer is did that on purpose to make us be like, he doesn't even fit in that fucking costume.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's
he
fucking
doesn't
crazy.
even belong to hold that mantle. And now when he's U.S. agent, it's like it fits him properly, and this is who he really is.
So, let's talk about what Danny just brought up. The power broker. What the fuck? How stupid! I forgot the power broker was a character until she was like, "I'm the power broker."
And the thing is, this show had a propensity to just introduce characters who we were just supposed to remember from their small roles in one of the movies, and just drop them in and just say, "Oh, remember these people?" And then it just all unfolds, and you have no idea who is who's the bad guy, who is that French dude that the main protagonist
that wants to kill Falcon, yeah.
Batroc.
To kill
It's
Falcon,
Batroc the Leaper.
Bartok the Leaper?
I had no idea what his motivation was. Why was he there? He gets his ass kicked in like 1-2 minute fight scene, and then that's it. The show just
That's kind of like his thing. Batroc just shows up, gets his ass beat by Captain America and his friends, and then that's pretty much been his thing.
No, yeah, to Danny's point with that, I think it kind of straddled the line of you can do that where you can have all of these characters and you can have an extended universe and an extended, like, establish the power broker as somebody people know about her or him, because we don't know who it is at that point. But you like that, you have to do that completely. You have to be like thrown into this world, and you have to understand that there's stuff that you don't know, and there are kind of establishments that have been predefined that you're kind of figuring out. But I think the Avengers does not do that. The Avengers, coming off of like a very defined comic thing, is more of like, you want to know every character, you want to know every villain, you don't want to have that kind of weird world built around it. It felt like it straddled both those lines, but not in a good way.
I have a question. So like, can all of us comfortably admit that Zemo in his mask was trailer bait?
100,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw him in the mask and I was like, ooh. And then I saw the episode and I was like, ooh. I was so fucking angry.
I think
Bang zoom.
Bang zoom pop.
Changing courses a little bit here, looking at as a whole. If we also then look at WandaVision, which
I knew this was gonna come up.
So, well, of course you can't talk about this show and not talk about WandaVision.
Yeah,
you can't
I
talk
was.
about the two.
I know what you're gonna.
MCU
I know what
shows.
you're gonna say, and I agree.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah. Go on. Finish my thought.
Oh, I was this. This is not. This is not
Finish
at
my
all.
thought. Hit you with the left hand.
This is not at
Anyway, so
all
it was
better.
basically-
Better
what
than
it
WandaVision.
is it's just the fact that the last episode of WandaVision felt forced. It fell flat. It was just not good. What I feel like they should do is, when you want to have your giant action sequence, your climactic action sequence, put it in the second to last episode so that you can have the last episode be all the fallout. Just let the fallout live
at the end of a movie.
Yeah, rather than shoving 15 minutes into the end of the movie or into the end of the episode to try and deal with the emotional grief and everything like that. Just put your main action into the
And
second to
don't
last
fucking
episode.
sit there and try to will characters into existence. Okay.
Exactly.
You don't do that. And I think so. Actually, Danny, I'm glad you brought up WandaVision. I was gonna say that I was way more invested in WandaVision week to week than I was invested in this. I think that's by design because it's a mystery. The second thing, though, is that when WandaVision was over, I felt like a piece of me had died. I was like, this is, oh man, I'm not going to have this every week. This was like, all right, let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it started to feel like.
It felt
And
more like a chore.
yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say was that, did you guys see anything online about this show, like WandaVision? WandaVision, I felt like every Thursday to Saturday, nobody shut the fuck up about WandaVision when that show is on. This show, every single time it came out, I would see like maybe I want to say like probably like in between 100 and 200 tweets just on that.
I feel like that goes back to what you're saying about this corner of the Marvel universe is the bombs and bullets, the geopolitical. It's like I don't think it's anything
The
less.
Jack
But
Ryan.
WandaVision is more like your poppier kind of mainstream type stuff. Whereas Mike, it's perfect like the Jack Ryan type stuff. It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
no, I
that
completely
is
agree.
true.
I
That's a
think,
good point.
Like
Yeah.
my sister, who is not
A human being.
she-
No, I'm kidding.
a human being, like she's not someone who like really kind of cares about like much of Marvel or comics or anything. She watched WandaVision and I think she really enjoyed it. Like I could not see her.
How could
like,
you
even
watch
trying
that
to
show
pick up-
without watching anything else?
But because it had, like I think there was a certain, like to Nick's point, like there was a certain appeal, and they're like it being like how you mentioned, it's like a mystery. I think it being a female-driven character, I think there were elements that made it accessible to people who would not just be like, cool, let me watch like a shoot 'em up kind of thing.
Well, that and the fact that it was like a retro sitcom thing, like that's got so much like mainstream appeal.
Mhm.
Whereas
Yeah.
this, like, the GRC is looking to, like reinstate citizens of this country, and it's like, who gives a shit
Like,
about
what the
that
fuck
stuff?
are you
What?
talking about? All
I
right.
feel like if you really just wanted an action show, then you were pleased with this. I think if you were just
Where
looking
was
solely
I
for
though? Because I
action-
feel like the action wasn't even all that good. Like when Bucky,
I think the action was still good. It's just everything else around it was
Like,
just crap.
when-
I
when-
still like the action parts of it.
when Bucky and
Mhm.
Sam fought Walker in the warehouse, I thought that was sick. The opening
Mhm.
action sequence was really good. The action sequence on the truck was good.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, maybe the action was a little bit better than I'm giving it credit for.
I think the action in the last episode was
I thi-
also good.
Oh yeah,
was
that's
just
right. There
so-
was a
it was
lot
just
of
very-
action. I was just bogged down in all the shittiness around it.
That's the thing.
All
That's
right.
the thing. If you're
So-
looking for character, you wouldn't like it.
So I got some
Yeah.
trivia, everybody. Trivia right here. Not
that's
Pat
trivia.
trivia, regular trivia. So, couple things. First of all, this show was the highest debuted show on Disney Plus. Whoop-de-fuck. It's been around for a year, though. You know what I mean? So really, who gives a fuck? It's everybody coming off WandaVision. However, the kind of like dud, like the fart that it went out on, I want to know what that does for Loki in the future. The other thing, though...
Loki drops
Tom
in June,
Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, that thing's gonna be a hit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there's-
fair
there's
enough.
no
That's a good
way.
point. The plus with the whole time variancy agency, that makes me very excited. That I can't wait to see. The second thing though is that the producer of this show, the executive producers, said that this show, they mentioned Loki as well, that WandaVision is a series that you can only do once, and that's why it was so special. We pulled out all the stops, we did it once, and that's why we did it, right? This type of show lends itself to a second season, and so does Loki. And they said that, and there's a potential there for them to do it. So, I want to know what your guys' thought on that is, because here's the thing. If there's a second season, I'm gonna watch it, okay? Obviously. But would that be interesting to have characters in film, and then they have like a 6-episode miniseries on a streaming service, and then they have the next big movie, and then they do you know what I mean? Like, is that too much story? You know what I mean? Like, is that
I would want the stories to be longer because it's like 6 episodes that could have been a movie.
Oh,
If
actually,
you wanna do
you're
something
right, Nick.
episodic,
You're absolutely right.
Give me 10, 12, 15 episodes
Yeah.
where it's a long form story because
But
this
give me one
I think-
character.
I think
don't need
this-
5 characters.
I
in
think
that.
this could have used at least 2 more episodes. I think
Yeah.
this like could to flesh everything out. I think 8 would have been perfect.
Yeah.
imagine if we had 2 episodes in the beginning of the season that really spelled things out with the state of the world and the GRC and all the immigrants and stuff like that, rather than just throwing you right into that fight where Falcon's fighting Batroc the Leaper and all that stuff, and 2 more episodes on the end to really stick the landing. I think the series would have really
Yeah.
shined.
I feel like-
The
6 episodes,
counterpoint,
not enough.
though, is that they obviously need to grab people's attention mad quick. So from like a production standpoint, like if you're gonna have the 30 minutes
yeah,
for first
you always
episode
open
about,
with a bang. You definitely always open with a bang. But you know, after you've grabbed them, you need to feed them. You know what I mean? You need to give them some substance to chew on.
I think episodes 2, 3, and 4, I was so confused at what was going on with the Flag Smashers.
Yep.
What was your point? Why were things better during the blip? And then you don't even realize till episodes 5 that it was like, oh, well, there was no borders and things were working more smoothly and people were getting along better. They didn't
I'm gonna
spell
be
that
honest,
out
Nick.
at all.
I didn't know that that's what that was about.
Exactly.
Still, as I'm sitting
Yeah.
here, I don't know what the Flag Smashers whole
right,
thing
like
was
they
about.
they got pissed off because a bunch of people got like ended
I
up
thought it was
relocating and
I thought it was the
refugees and-
other way around. I thought it was they got kicked out of what's it called? Like they were like people who just wanted the world to go back to when there was half the population because that meant there was more resources, less poverty, more
No.
this.
It was think about what was going on during Endgame.
Oh no, I'm aware of what it is now after seeing
Right.
the last episode, but they
Right,
didn't
all right,
they
so
didn't
think about
spell
what
that
the world
out.
was during Endgame where there's like half the population is gone. So you're talking about like governments not being able to function properly, whole populations of the earth being gone. So the GRC or the Flag Smashers, they didn't like the idea of there being borders because during that 5-year period, borders were basically meaningless because there's nobody to enforce borders. No governments were like not enforcing these things. People were able to move into homes because like they were empty because people were snapped away. So like when these new people were brought back 5 years later, people
When
were
the
occupying their
Snappians,
homes.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's like now there's all these people who were displaced.
See, when you
And
paint it with a fine brush like that, it's an intriguing premise. But when you're
Exactly.
just
It's
like,
a really cool idea.
but when you're just like, do you think it's fair that people got forced out of their? It's just like, fuck you. That's just the talking point. You know what I mean? That's all that is,
exactly.
and that's not what I'm
Yeah.
here for. Like, I needed an episode with. I needed a fucking Walking Dead is what I needed. And by that I
Imagine
mean
if you had
I
an
needed you to
episode-
take one episode and make the whole thing about some context for another character. And then at the
Imagine
very
if
last
it
10
were
minutes,
Bucky
bring
Wentz
us back.
Antagonist.
What'd you say?
Just show me the
imagine that-
antagonist backstory.
Imagine if Bucky went and talked to a refugee, somebody who's actually in a position where you can like understand where they're coming from, rather than like I know there was the whole point of like the Flag Smashers being located in that like that the GRC headquarters. But imagine you actually have a conversation with somebody who's like, oh yeah, I came back and my like there was a new family living in my house.
humanize
or-
it, like
Humanize it, make it a real
Yeah.
issue.
Make it
Well, like,
3D.
so much of this show was really great about like all everything that had to do with America's systemic racism. I think that was really great, the Isaiah Bradley stuff. But all this stuff that had to do with refugees was so like elusive and not really tethered to anything realistic.
Yeah.
That was a problem.
Yeah,
Wasn't
no,
concrete.
that's true because all the Isaiah Bradley stuff I feel like is genuine and really works. However, I kind of felt like when they were explaining about the refugees, I was more or less just like, dude, you're fucking super soldiers, kick them out. Like, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
All right, Wyatt Russell.
all right, Senator.
Mr. Senator.
What would you guys do? Would you be like, hey, they're staying, or like, all right, everyone, pack your shit, let's go? You know, like,
Well, no, to the point where Falcon was like, you could feed 1 million people with one phone call or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like, it's to the fact of like, yeah, things are weird because now we spent 5 years and we kind of acclimatized, and now we have to reacclimatize. But it's like you should learn what you should take from what you learned during that period of difficulty.
that is crazy that Marvel is willing at least to look like take a peek under the hood like a little bit deeper of how earth-shattering an event like that would be. At least it's not just
cool.
like
It's
surface level like,
overpopulation,
oh no,
government
half of our
stability.
Avengers went away. It's like, oh no, this actually has vast effects on our culture and on our like lifestyles and timelines.
Politics,
You know what I mean?
everything.
Yeah, everything
versus
changes.
versus
Utilities.
DC, when DC is like, Yeah, Batman and Superman are fighting an island, but don't worry, nobody's there. They all left early for a long holiday weekend, so there's no collateral damage.
We
Thank
got
God
him
it's
out.
MDW.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. I'm glad that we're talking about this now because it makes you appreciate like how DC's like we're trying to be grounded in reality, and it's like okay, well the Avengers are fighting over their civil rights in one movie. The movie before that, they talked about building a giant shield of armor around the world, which would indoctrinate people, but also protect them. You know what I mean? Like
But it's also,
these
like,
are high
isolationism,
concept,
like, yeah.
These are high concept political themes that are being just talked about in these family friendly movies. You know what I mean? And it's the fact that they don't like spell it out, which kind of what happened in that Sam monologue at the end, where it started to sit with people the wrong way. It's like, no, these are how humans would react in these situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, it's okay. It's fine. I think everything's fine. If you're into it, watch it. If not,
Action's cool.
I definitely recommend it.
fine.
I just don't expect a lot out of the final episode. Everything else is great.
yeah. He picked up that whole truck though.
That was
Yeah.
that
That was
cool.
nice. That was nice. I don't know how his chest didn't immediately cave into his back as his thruster squished him in between the fucking.
He's got a vibranium suit.
Yeah,
Does
man,
he?
come on.
Oh, he might.
Yeah, the Wakandan.
Yo, that
That's
makes
true.
me feel so much better about that scene. I
Also,
hope
one
that's
thing
real.
that I just want to mention was Torres. Why didn't he show up as new Falcon? Like I was really anticipating that, because Sam left his wings with Torres.
We've already agreed, Nick. Marvel had the ball, and they went like this. Like,
They fumbled it to the finish line.
They don't often do that, but this is one of those instances.
no, they do
Yeah,
not
this-
often do that. Well, yeah.
Essentially, I give it 2 thumbs, like slightly
Yeah,
tilting upward.
I'd give it,
but
like-
not fully.
I'll go this way.
I'll give it one up.
I'll give it
slightly
one up,
tilted.
and I'll give it one
Okay.
neutral. That's what I'll do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
what are your thumbs
That's
doing?
that's a good
Mike,
I-
what about
I-
your
I
thumbs?
give it the 1 because like fun action and everything like that. And then this thumb, because it was so heavy-handed, is having a little bit of difficulty getting up there as much. But it's trying.
Needs a little boost.
All right, clip of the week.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
Cool. Hold on, let me share my screen with you boys. All
With us,
right.
boys.
So this is going to be a lighthearted, silly one for Danny.
Aw, thanks.
Okay.
It's already in Russian.
It's already good.
Everything great.
Nick
happens in
always picks out of the Eastern European Bowl when he goes for
That's
clip
my
of the
favorites.
week.
He goes on Eastern
All right,
European
let's
Reddit
do it.
threads. Smoking a cigarette in an elevator. I love it.
Always a good start.
Cup of vodka.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
All right. Not a great idea.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
The vodka's on fire.
Oh my god. Yo. Yo. No.
That's so dangerous. Oh my god.
Yeah, oh, there goes his jacket.
Oh
my God.
shit.
Take it off. Take it off. What is with your hair, bud? What is
That's
on your
part
head?
of his jacket.
It's part of his jacket. Oh my
Yo.
fuck.
Yo.
Jesus, run. Get out.
Oh.
no!
Oh my god.
The ass crack.
He lost oxygen at this point.
Oh my
Nick,
god.
What are we watching?
Keep it going. It's almost over. Keep it going.
What is this?
Okay. Get back up.
Dude. Oh my
There you
god.
Okay,
Oh
so
my God.
We have a Russian man who's smoking a cigarette, got an open cup of vodka, who decides for whatever reason to light the vodka
To
on
check
fire
if it's flammable.
in an
Guess
enclosed
what?
space.
Spoiler alert, it is flammable.
Dude, and just makes essentially a death trap for himself in an elevator.
That dude has a
Dude,
lot
the
of
coat-
burns on his.
The co-
This is the death stance.
So you got to think, the alcohol, the fire burned off all the oxygen in
Yeah.
the room,
Yeah.
and his jacket was emitting noxious fumes. So he just lost consciousness. Thank God those doors opened.
Holy
let oxygen in.
Fucking God.
Dude,
Okay, now
I like
I'm-
how
now
his
I'm
see how his
massively-
jacket starts to melt though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Starts
was
to
letting.
melt on him.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm massively concerned that I don't think there's any like fire extinguisher or like what do you
No.
call it? Sprinklers in elevators
In
now.
Also,
elevators.
notice when he gets up, look at his left. I think it's his left hand.
It's all
Is that-
black.
It's all
It's
covered in jacket.
Yeah. Look at it.
oh
This
my
is his
god.
origin story.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
That's Doctor Doom.
Oh my
That's
god.
terrifying.
Holy
What a nice, lighthearted
shit.
clip, Nick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
Dude, if our
You're
channel
right.
gets
That was
deleted,
lighthearted.
this is why.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ. I
Holy
thought we were watching
fuck.
stuff. Oh my god.
That was so fucked up.
Waiting for the live leak little tag to pop up on the right side.
Yeah, maybe let's go towards more the hilarious side than the
They
horrible.
don't have that live leak in Russia. They just have all their clips are just all in the same.
That's the
category.
YouTube. That's the Russian YouTube on that side. All right. Well, now that everyone needs to go have a drink.
Don't light it on fire, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your matches away.
Thanks so much for listening and watching tonight. Once again, this has been Nerd Shit Live. Do us a favor, like the video. If you're new here,
If
subscribe.
you liked it,
You know,
like it.
or not like it. It's fine. Interaction is all it needs. And
Smash that like.
If
leave
you
a
didn't
comment.
like it, just tell us. why
Leave
you
a
didn't like
comment,
it.
and it doesn't have to say anything. Just a bunch of spaces is fine too.
You
so,
can just tell everyone how cute Burke is looking.
Yeah,
today.
so tell your friends to
comment
listen
that.
to us
Right, pee
as well.
poo as the comment.
We show
There you
really
go.
fucked up shit on the show. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We're going to be having a conversation about it later. Don't worry. So, thanks so much, everyone. I'm Van Averado. With me, as always, is Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. We'll see you guys next week. God damn it.